From the business analytics standpoint, what has it been like just opening a new $2 billion stadium during a pandemic?
It hasn't been easy, I'll tell you that. The entire experience has been enriching, it's been career changing, it's been enlightening, because you throw the pandemic just recently, but prior to that, we were operating in two markets. We were managing Oakland still while trying to sell out Las Vegas and build a new fan base in Las Vegas as well. So I think it goes back to just some of the skill sets that are required to work in the sports industry. Adaptability, that's a big thing. And then communication. When you're dealing with two markets, you're traveling back and forth, you're dealing and talking with two sets of workforces, a workforce in Oakland and then a workforce in Las Vegas.
Analytics has really come to the forefront of sports during this pandemic. So how would you say that business analytics are coming to the forefront of the NFL or just other sports leagues in general?
I think where it's coming to the forefront right now is there's just a huge proliferation of digital engagement. So because of all of this digital behavior that's occurring during COVID and people just shifting to digital means for everything, this year is sort of turned into a blessing in disguise, because we were supposed to open up the new stadium to our season ticket base and fans in general. But because of the postponement, or because we want to be a fanless environment, we're able to use this year as sort of like a learning. And the learnings that we're able to understand and uncover will serve us better next year. So, for example, we are understanding a little bit how our season ticket base likes to be communicated on a weekly basis. Because of that understanding, next year on game day weeks, we'll be able to tailor communication and the way that we distribute that communication better at the individual level, because now we know that Bella likes communication this way, through, let's say, email in the beginning of the week and then through the app at the end of the week, or that Wahaj likes to be contacted via phone, but then when it comes to game day communication, he's going to want it through text. Gone are the days where things are done based off of a hunch. Now everybody asks for proof of performance, or like, all right, what does the data tell you? Because of that, data now is much more important than ever before. And so we use it for everything, as sort of not just a gut check, but also a reality check.
What are some specific difficulties you face, whether it has to do with the new stadium opening or just your day-to-day operations now in the midst of a pandemic?
I think what's tough now is it's the collaboration part, for sure. We're looking to launch a few things here, some new initiatives around the new stadium coming shortly. But to develop that go-to-market plan a few months ago was very challenging. We couldn't get into an office and easily just hammer out what we needed to on a whiteboard for maybe, like, let's say 2 hours. We had to set up consecutive meetings over the course of a few days, just so that there wasn't fatigue set in place and our minds were still fresh and we were really still thinking about the overall picture versus getting blindsided by trying to cram it all in one setting. Like, it's just not feasible and possible. There's been new hires through the pandemic. So trying to set up any sort of credibility with those new folks, even if they're at a senior level, has been difficult. And again, if we were in person, there's the opportunity to, all right, let's go grab lunch. Let's go grab a coffee, just to get to know somebody at a more personal level that was just recently hired, that you have to work with on a day-to-day basis. That's been gone and removed. So trying to establish any sort of relationship has been difficult. Staying in the same four walls, right? Like sometimes you need a change of scenery. It's been great. It's been great to be at home. My wife and I just had our first son about 10 months ago. So this has served, yeah, thanks. So this has served as extended paternity leave, but it gets tough sometimes, you know, where you're trying to give a hand and help out, but then you still have four other things to do for work. So like juggling that has been really tough too. So time management has been really tough. If that's weird to say from working from home, because
It's not weird. It's
your
very true.
your mind just is somewhere else sometimes.
With your busy schedule, being traveling, being places, and then you come home and you unwind. That's your like
Exactly.
relaxation place. And now that has become just everything all together, like you said,
Yeah,
in the four
that's a
walls.
good way to put it.
What has it been like for you moving from one city to another with the team?
It's it, it's been exciting, but it's nothing new to me because when I graduated from DePaul, I moved to New York for 2 years. Then I moved back to Chicago, and then I moved to the Bay Area for the job, and then I moved from the Bay Area to Vegas. So hopping around is nothing new to me. It's sort of cumbersome now, and it's more of a new experience for my wife because she's always lived in Chicago and that's always been her bubble. So for her to move with me to the Bay Area the first time was sort of like, well, like what are we doing? And then now throw Vegas on top of that, it's just like, what the hell? Like, why are we going to Vegas?
You mentioned DePaul, so tell me a little bit about your DePaul roots. How did DePaul help you get to where you are today?
So DePaul helped me by actually just providing the platform for me to reach out to presenters just like you're doing today with me right now. I never had that platform before. I never had that opportunity. So when I was a junior and I was taking Andy Clark's sports management class at that time, I think it was like an intro to sports management, and he had speakers coming in every week. And that was my first real opportunity. All right, let me try networking with these people. Let me follow up with them after their presentation with us and see what can transpire in terms of just understanding how they got to where they did and what advice do they have for students like me. And so from that class is actually where I was able to get my first couple of internships as well as paid opportunity, even though it was just game day opportunity with Chicago Bears. But it was from that sort of platform that allowed me to understand how to network and then get me comfortable enough to step out of my bubble and understand that I need to be proactive. I need to go and get what I want. Nothing's going to come to me. You know, understanding how to work in teams. A lot of projects at DePaul as an undergrad are team based, and you're working with other sort of backgrounds. You know, that's the other good thing about DePaul. It's so diverse that you come across different backgrounds, different personalities, and learning how to deal with them pays dividends later on in the business world.